Did Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren manage somehow to stay in power by resigning just in time? Take a look. In the last 1 week, Hemant Soren was first missing, then he was found, then he resigned, then he was arrested, and then he was replaced. But what if I told you that this was all smart strategy to stay in power? This is how it happened. On Monday last week, rumors were rife that the Jharkhand chief minister was missing. The enforcement directorate was camped outside of his house in Delhi and at Delhi airport to keep him from leaving. And the rumor mill said that he would be arrested as soon as he was found. 36 hours passed and there was no sign of the chief minister. Even the aircraft that he had used to fly to Delhi remained parked at Delhi airport. The enforcement directorate continued to look, and in the meantime, they said that they had seized 36 lakh rupees in cash and a luxury SUV from his residence in Delhi. It was at that time that the BJP began to claim that the state of Jharkhand was in a constitutional crisis because its chief minister was nowhere to be found. Now, this term is important. Remember it for later. The ED was investigating the chief minister because they accuse him of buying property through ill-begotten wealth or wealth that was a proceeds of a crime by illegally selling land that belongs to the Indian Army. 14 individuals have already been arrested in this case. The chief minister then resurfaced in Ranchi after 36 hours after he had had apparently a series of meetings with his coalition partners and members of his own party. He had done the impossible. He had made the entire road trip between Delhi and Ranchi, which is on 1,300 kilometers by road, avoiding enforcement agencies and police and the media and all toll booth cameras. No one knows how he did it. Some reports also suggest that he had assistance from the West Bengal Mamata Banerjee government. He was then questioned by the ED all of Wednesday, and by the end of the day, it became obvious that he was going to be arrested. But here's the twist. Hemant Soren refused to sign the arrest papers or the memo before him, and he said he wanted to resign first. So the ED then escorted him to the governor's residence where he tendered his resignation. And when he arrived there to tender his resignation, he also had top leaders from his ruling coalition come with him. So as soon as he tendered his resignation, Champai Soren staked claim to form the government, saying that he had enough numbers, which means that in the 36 hours that Hemant Soren was missing, he managed to get his coalition partners together and they all managed an agreement to pick a successor in his place. But why did he need to do all of this? Now, here is the background. The rumor mill was full of stories that if he was arrested as a sitting chief minister, that there was a possibility of the central government bringing in president's rule in the state of Jharkhand. Let me take you through the rules. Now, Article 356 of our constitution, which is the particular article about president's rule, says that the president can assume governance of a state if the constitutional machinery fails or if it is in a constitutional crisis. You'll remember that from earlier. Now, if a state government is unable to function according to its constitutional provisions, the union government can take control. Now, the arrest of a sitting chief minister could potentially lead to a situation where the state government is unable to function. However, we checked with constitutional experts and legal experts on this, and it's not as simple. In 1994, there was something called a Bombay judgment. We checked with our legal experts and our constitutional experts, and it's not as simple. There's the Bombay judgment in the Supreme Court of 1994, where the Supreme Court basically said, and I have to read this out because we shouldn't get it wrong, the Supreme Court basically said that the president's power to dismiss a state government is not absolute. It also said that the president can only suspend an assembly until the proclamation has been approved by both houses of parliament. It also said that the court said the president's decision is subject to judicial review. Now, even if the possibility of president's rule was not on the cards, there was the possibility of Operation Lotus. If Soren had been arrested without a plan of a successor and without those meetings that he had conducted, it's possible his MLAs would have been in disarray and they could have been broken up and the party could have been split and the BJP could have found a lot of them in its favor. Now remember, Champai Soren had staked claim to form the government, and 2 days after that, he was invited to actually take oath as chief minister. According to the letter he had submitted to the governor, he had the support of 43 MLAs. Let me take you through the numbers for a second. The Jharkhand Assembly has 81 members, and after the recent resignation of the chief minister, that brings down the number. So the majority is now 41 mark. As things stand, the JMM currently has 29, with its coalition partners, the Congress, the RJD, and the CPI-MLL together adding up to 48. The opposition, there's the NDA, which is the BJP, the All Jharkhand Students Union, and the Ajit Pawar-led NCP. They have together 29. Now, everything seems simple, but there was speculation because after Champai Soren said he wanted to become chief minister and he had the numbers, 2 full days passed before the governor invited him to take oath, and there was speculation again about an Operation Kamal or the possibility of some MLAs breaking away. Now, this prompted the JMM, the Congress, and the RJD to gather up all their MLAs and make arrangements to fly them out to Hyderabad to prevent them from being poached. The MLAs then returned to Ranchi only on Sunday night. They were all kept together at Circuit House and taken straight to the assembly for the trust vote. It finally boiled down to the vote of confidence, which new chief minister Champai Soren has now won comfortably with 47 MLAs in his support. At the same time, remember what Hemant Soren has done is managed to gather up all of his allies as well. Rahul Gandhi is now in Ranchi with his Bharat Jodo Yatra. He will be joined by the new chief minister on the Yatra, and they've promised to meet Hemant Soren, who is in ED custody. In Lok Sabha, there was rousing support as well, where the opposition MPs actually staged a walkout in protest to the treatment of Soren in Jharkhand. Now, Soren has been given 5 days custody to the ED by a special court. The Supreme Court has declined to consider his writ petition for bail and told him instead to go to the High Court in Jharkhand. Now, while he continues to refute the ED's claims, he says the BMW that was seized is not his, that the illicit cash in his Delhi residence was not his either, and he's just being humiliated by the ED. Soren will still have to fight these cases in court, but in the meantime, in the court of political opinion and strategy, he has perhaps, through deft strategy and through sound legal advice, by disappearing for 36 hours, managed to hold on to the government in his state. Now remember, today during that new trust vote, the new chief minister said, "I am just Hemant Soren Part 2, suggesting that the reins of the state remain in the hands of Hemant Soren. So it was smart political strategy and smart legal strategy, but the cases against him that the ED has brought remain.